This program may contain language or material that may be considered offensive. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not reflect the views of the management of WHRW or those of other WHRW station members.
Hello and welcome back to WHRW's number one rated show in the county of Boca Raton, Florida. Spitballing, brought to you by us, your favorite two radio hosts. We got a big week because we were off last week, so it's time to get down to business. Kadarius Toney, a Chief. The Islanders beat the Rangers. The Phillies in the World Series. What has happened in our world of sports, Jeremy?
It's definitely been a crazy, crazy week that we unfortunately could not cover, but you know, we'll start with football. Kadarius Toney today traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, and all of a sudden now, he's perfectly healthy, ready to play for the Chiefs. Is he kind of tampering with the Giants, and was he kind of faking an injury? I don't know, but like most people, why would you want to play for the Giants? They paid Kenny Galladay $70 million, drafted Toney in the first round, and yes, I know it was a different coaching staff and different GM, but you still have them on your team. You're still paying them. You still use the draft capital, and you're playing guys like Richie James and David Sills, who I personally have not heard of before this year.
I think I'm going to try the same tactic till they trade me from this show. I'm going to start complaining about vocal cord injuries.
So moving on to a little bit other stuff about the NFL near the trade deadline. Christian McCaffrey got traded from the Panthers to the 49ers. Blockbuster deal. Gave second, third, fourth, fifth. Now, the 49ers had a lot of draft capital to give, but that is a lot to give for
an injury-prone running back and Christian McCaffrey,
who's already a little older as well. But, you know, they're going for it. They went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo once. They now have a running back that could play wide receiver and a wide receiver that could play running back in Deebo Samuel. They have a very dynamic offense. You got C-Mac, Deebo, Ayuk, Kittle. The only problem is you have Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, but I guess they think they have a good shot with him. I mean, they're definitely a good team. They have a good defense. Shanahan, I think, is a really good coach. They have a good shot over there. Some other trade deadline stuff. Robert Quinn gets traded to the Eagles. That Eagles defense is looking insane. The Eagles are looking insane as they are the only undefeated team in the league so far.
Much to the Giants' dismay.
Yeah, that NFC East, you got the Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, all multiple games above 500. Who would have thunk it? Not me. I thought that division...
Is thunk it? Is that proper English? Thunk it?
I thought the Giants would probably have 5 wins the
that
entire season, and then it was just kind of going to be the Eagles and Cowboys division, but what a surprise. I mean, I know my friends who are Giants fans are having a ball right now. I mean, I would enjoy it while it lasts because it probably will not last too much longer.
Well, Jet fans were also having a ball until the unfortunate ACL injury of Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, not only was it unfortunate to Jets fans, but also to all fantasy owners out there, myself included. If you had Breece Hall on your fantasy team, I feel very, very sorry for you because I know the pain that I went through, and it was quite devastating.
Well, you want to talk about pain? Let's talk about pain in Ranger fans this week as the New York Islanders defeated them by a whopping 3-0. The team that couldn't score, with two of the guys who also could not score, found the back of the net 3 times, 2 for Kyle Palmieri, 1 for Josh Bailey. And the Rangers, the high-flying offense of the Rangers, couldn't get it past Ilya Sorokin as he looked very, very strong. Even the defense had their breakdowns. Like when Capo Caco went knifing through in the first period, the defense did not look strong. And Sorokin just stood tall and put the Islanders on his back and said, I got this one, boys.
Cole, how do you feel about the Islanders' start to the season so far?
I mean, can we just pick a lane? Are we going for it, or can we just tank? It's so annoying to watch when you go against real teams like Florida and Tampa, and they just look silly. They have not seen the Avalanche yet. That's tomorrow, I believe, or in a week.
When they go against a real team.
Oh, they're going to get dogged. Avalanche. It's just I don't understand what they're doing at this point. Lou Lamoriello has not committed to really going for it by getting a scorer. I'll give him some time for the trade deadline and the season progress. But he also isn't building for the future. Today they lost winger Kiefer Bellows and waiver claim to the Flyers, and I don't understand what that deal was. They, I guess, viewed Nikita Soshnikov, a winger they signed out of the KHL, to a 1-year expiring contract as more valuable than Kiefer Bellows because that's who they seemed more inclined to keep, and I just don't understand. But I will remind the people who want to call in that our phone number is 607-777-2137. That's 607-777-2137. I don't understand exactly what Lou Lamoriello is doing, but whatever he did, it worked to beat the Rangers 3-0.
Now, obviously, I have an extensive knowledge of hockey, and I'm very.
Aren't you majoring in that?
I'm very informative in the sport, but I'll say this: the Islanders sitting in that middle ground. That's the worst spot to be. I mean, you're either going to be competing for a chip, or you want to be competing for the first pick, and that middle ground.
Especially this year with Connor Bedard.
Exactly. I mean, he's a crazy prospect, but I think the Islanders, honestly, I don't think much of them. I don't think they're that good. I think they could they kind of remind me of the New York Knicks.
No, the Knicks actually are exciting to watch. When I watch the Islanders, I feel pain.
No, there's nothing exciting to watch.
They're
about
fun
the
to
Knicks.
watch. Are you kidding me?
What is fun to watch about them?
Jalen Brunson dropped 27 last night.
My point's been proven. Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle are very fun to watch. Unlike the Brooklyn Nets, who are a walking train wreck. They're
If anything,
1
the
and
Nets are
3.
fun. If anything, the Nets are fun to watch because
1 and 3 is fun to watch.
Because every game's like 130 to 125, so it's high scoring.
It's fun to watch them fall apart.
No, listen, I will say this as a Brooklyn Nets fan, this is quite the devastating start. Ben Simmons has fouled out in
Ben Simmons
two
is
out of
actually
the-
fun to watch because I like laughing at him.
He's fouled out in 2 out of the 4 games. Now, yes, he does. He is doing things well. He's doing a solid job distributing
He's
the
doing a
ball.
solid job collecting his paycheck for nothing.
He's doing a solid job distributing the ball, and he is playing. I know this is going to sound crazy because he's fouled out in half the games we played, but he is playing good defense. He's fouling a little too much, which he needs to obviously lower those a lot. But he is, and his scoring, he's not scoring at all, which is really disappointing to see. But he is, I do believe he can be a really impactful player for us, but he just needs to. I don't want to wipe off the rust, but he needs to pick it up, at least in terms of an offensive standpoint. Obviously, we know he can't really shoot, but he needs to be putting up more than 6-8 points a game. That's not acceptable at all.
Well, it's a train wreck how you went from the biggest big three, I'll say, in all of basketball history of Harden, Durant, and Kyrie, and now you have to watch Ben Simmons take the court every night? That's horrible.
I mean, the other night when we played the Grizzlies, KD and Kyrie each put up 37, and we lost by 10 because Ja and Desmond Bane put up 38 each.
Yeah, but
that's
you
just
had two
unacceptable.
guys put up 30 and you still lost by 10.
That's what I'm saying. We can't have...
The defense is horrendous.
KD and Kyrie, those are 2 of the best players in the league, and they're going to put up close to 40, and we're going to lose by a decent amount. That's ridiculous.
See, when you're a Knicks fan with the mid-3 of Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and RJ Barrett, you don't expect them to win every night, so it's more fun when they do. They took Ja and the Grizzlies to overtime, the team that beat you by 10 and lost, and then they have won 3 in a row from taking a win from the young Pistons, the young Magic, and yesterday from the injured Hornets. Now, none of those teams are really firing on all cylinders, but it's still fun to watch them win, unlike the Nets, who have lost to who? The Bucks, the Grizzlies, and who's the other one?
That's a great question. I don't know. But
Was it the Wizards? They beat the Wizards, right?
what I was going to say, just before we go back to that, a team that I have really enjoyed watching, honestly, and I haven't watched too much basketball so far, but I've really enjoyed the Magic, even though they're winless right now. Because the Magic are in a better spot than the Knicks. They have Franz Wagner, Jalen Suggs, Paolo Banchero, and guess what? They're about to get the first or second pick and take Victor Wembanyama. And
You think that Wembanyama is heading to Orlando?
And they're going to have Victor Wembanyama, Paolo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, John Isaac, Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter. That is a really,
All right, so
really
we're still
good
banking
young
on Mo
core.
Bamba and Wendell Carter, guys who need to still. How long has Mo Bamba been in the league? How long have we heard Mo Bamba's going to be the next
Mo
big thing?
Bamba's he's going to be their third.
He's not
string.
gonna be a
He's not
Magic by the
playing.
end of the
He's
season.
not going to be playing. You're right. He's not going to be playing. I take that back. But my point, Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz, they have good play. They're going to be a good team. And guess what? When Paolo has looked unbelievable so far, by the way, has not dropped less than 20 points in a single game so far this year. But imagine Paolo and Victor, or Paolo and Scoot Henderson, and then Franz
Well, then
Wagner,
what happens
Jalen
to Cole
Suggs.
Anthony?
He's their 6th man. You got Suggs at shooting guard, Franz Wagner small forward, Paolo power forward, and then Victor at center. That is a really entertaining and fun lineup to watch. Look at the Pistons. They have Cade, Jaden Ivey. Those 2 alone, that's just such a cornerstone to build off of. That's
Build
better-
off of.
it's
Keyword, build off of. How much longer down the road until the Pistons are competitive?
another year.
Another year.
Another year.
You think Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and then one more draft pick, and all of a sudden they're competitive?
I think next year they can make the playoffs.
Oh my God!
I think
Stop!
next year
Come
they can
on!
make the playoffs.
You are putting too much in a rookie and a second-year player. They are at least 2
putting
to 3
too
years,
much.
3 or 4 years away from making the playoffs.
Guess who played their third season last year?
What?
Guess who played their third season last year?
John Morant?
No.
Well, yes.
Well, okay, wait. I might be getting my years mixed up. Guess who was building a team, and look how far they've gotten now with no one else. Luka Doncic is what I was going for. And
Really? How far have they gotten? Western Conference Finals, and then they lost
yeah,
the
but
big piece
here's
to
the
Jalen
thing.
Brunson?
He doesn't have another player who's as good as Jaden Ivey. And don't even try and tell me Jalen Brunson is as good as Jaden Ivey.
I'm not saying Jalen Brunson's as good as Jaden Ivey. I'm not saying Jaden Ivey is. Jaden Ivey still needs to prove himself. It's been 3 games.
Very true. Very true.
Jaden Ivey could be the next
Very true.
draft bust here. Anthony Bennett.
He could be, but I'm just
You're
going.
putting
I'm,
too much
I'm going on my
faith in
opinion.
rookies.
I'm going on my opinion. And in terms of the Knicks and the Pistons, Cade Cunningham would be your best player. No doubt. No doubt.
Yes,
doubt.
I give you that,
No
but the
doubt.
Knicks also have a better supporting staff than the Pistons.
That's true.
You can't tell me
I
that.
didn't say that. I didn't say the Knicks.
The Knicks team is built better than the Pistons, and I think they're also built
Yes.
better to win in
I
the
agree.
more near future. Maybe the Pistons are built for the
how
farther future.
How are the Knicks built to win it now? Like in the future?
Not
How are
built
they
to win a championship, but to win more games.
How are they built to win in the future?
They have the best second unit in the game. Tell me I'm wrong.
And okay, guess what? They don't have a good first unit.
Their first unit is okay. It's good enough to get them to that second unit.
It's good enough to get them to a first round exit. Like I don't know what you're getting at here.
But you don't get my point. The Pistons are still 3 or 4 years away from a first round exit.
That's the thing. They're not though.
They are though. They have 2 legitimate pieces, and maybe Isaiah Stewart's a third.
Jalen Duran.
Oh, that's right. He did end up there. I forgot the Knicks
Sadiq
sent him
Bey
there.
is a solid player.
They have
They're not.
solid pieces, but they don't
That's the thing.
have.
So they need another. They're gonna have a bad year again. They're gonna get another really good player, and then they're gonna have 3 studs. Well, in my opinion, 3 studs, and then they're gonna be ready to go. The Knicks do not have 3 studs. Don't try and tell me they have 3 studs. Julius Randle's not a stud. Jalen Brunson's
I called them the mid 3. They're
RJ's
mid.
good.
Oh, we know
Exactly.
that.
They're mid. So how do you have a good future with the mid 3?
Because you have the mid 3.
Guess
and
what?
then you have Quickly, Toppin,
okay,
Grimes.
Those guys aren't good.
Yes, they are. You can't say that.
You're not gonna go far in the playoffs, and you're not gonna get a good pick. So how are you gonna get out of that mediocrity territory?
We are going to trade all those draft picks we've styled up for a star. When a
Okay,
star
that
says,
would make
I
a
want out.
difference. That would make a big difference. I honestly thought you guys had a good shot to get.
So did
Spider,
I don't
but
understand what you saw. Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
I don't understand what they did there. I don't know why you'd ever offer RJ. If I was the Knicks, I would have been like, "Here's all my first
The whole
round picks.
point of getting
Take
Donovan
all of them
Mitchell is to
put him with
put him
RJ.
with
I don't.
yeah,
to put him with
I don't
RJ and Jalen. The Knicks are going to have to probably trade Julius Randle for a star to allocate the money. So it's really going to be RJ, Jalen, and then
Well, yeah, Julius Randle is definitely not a long-term option.
no, he's not.
No.
The problem is they're going to end up the real big stars that are out there are guards. So they're
What-
going to have to move RJ to a 3, and Obi's going to be
okay.
starting power forward.
So what star do you think could possibly? Like, obviously, it's kind of hard to predict, but what star do you think could possibly end up as a New York Knick?
Well, stars I think or stars I want.
Stars you think?
Think
Yeah.
it depends on how the season
Because
goes.
as a Nets
but
fan, I want Giannis, but that's not.
yeah, I
happening.
know. It depends on who decides to sell. Like if Sacramento decides this isn't working,
But they
we should
made
build
a,
around
they made
Keegan
a-
Murray,
They made a huge trade last year to get Sabonis,
which was a horrible trade.
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they're going to give up just yet.
Yeah, they're not. They're not just going to give it after 1 year.
But it was a very confusing trade. If Washington decides that this Bradley Beal,
Washington.
what?
Washington.
Bradley Beal
Beal's
could be on his way
possible.
out.
But then, I mean, it's an interesting lineup. I don't think it's making a huge difference. if
No.
you have
Bradley Beal's way too old. But the Knicks might just
Yeah.
say we need a star to get just the fans really
Brunson,
going.
Beal,
Brunson,
Barrett,
Beal,
like,
and Barrett.
I don't think you're
Killer
really gaining
bees.
much ground than what you're.
No,
at
you're
right
not.
now.
Well, it's better than Julius.
Yes, it's better, but it's not like it's gonna make a huge.
Here's
difference.
who I want, and it's all going to depend on the end of the season. There's no way they'd be able to pull this off midseason. Is Shea? I want Shea Gilgeous-Alexander really, really bad, but it would all be reliant on Oklahoma City getting the second pick in the draft and trading away a guard for Scoot Henderson coming in. That's what I think that's reliant on, because I don't think Shea is going to be any way shakeable other than that.
That's interesting because I don't think they'll give up Shea, and I honestly think they pair Shea with Scoot. I don't really know that much about Scoot Henderson, if I'm being honest. I know he's athletic, and I know I just kind of know he's a
Well,
freak
then what happens to
athlete.
Josh Giddey? Off the bench?
Absolutely not. Play Giddey at small forward.
Giddey at small forward?
You're really gonna
You're gonna have a small-
You're really gonna have Josh Giddey come off the bench.
That's what I'm saying. You have 2 legitimate guards.
I don't. Basketball is kind of positionless these days. I think, and yeah, you're right. Giddey is a guard, but it's not
You
like.
have,
Oh,
all right, we have a call coming in. Caller, what's your name and where are you from?
This is Keith from Long Beach. Hello, guys.
Hi, Keith. How
Hey,
you doing?
Doing pretty good. This is a change of the topic. I mean, I'm enjoying what you're saying about the Knicks and everything, but I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on the Jets and the Giants, and do you think they're for real?
That's a great question, Keith. Thank you. So I'll start with the Jets. Brees Hall, I felt like, was that entire offense. He was making big play after big play. He was that guy in that offense, and he is hurt now. He's done for the year. I think we're about to see the Jets kind of crumble. I don't.
Well,
Zach
didn't they
Wilson.
just make a deal too to get someone in? Didn't they just bring in? Who'd they just bring in?
The Jets.
The Jets. They just brought in another running back.
Oh, yeah, they just traded a 6th-round pick for James Robinson, who is a good player, but he's not Brees Hall. I just think the reality is Zach Wilson has not looked the greatest. He has his moments here or there, but he's just very inconsistent. Their defense is good, but it definitely has some holes. I'll definitely say this. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner have arguably been the best cornerback duo in the entire league this year. Sauce Gardner has arguably been the best corner in the league this year. Sauce Gardner, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson. The Jets, I think, had a really good draft class. It's really unfortunate to see Brees Hall go down, but I think he was carrying their offense. And, yes, I do think they're a better team than they were last year, but I think they're kind of a pretender. I don't really think they're all that. And
I'll agree with you because you're also forgetting what the Jets have to get through in their way is Buffalo, and Buffalo is for real. There is no chance the Jets are going to overtake Buffalo for that division, and a wild card berth, maybe.
It's not even also just Buffalo. Like, the Dolphins also. The Dolphins are better than the Jets. Like, I know a few weeks ago I kind of pooped on the Dolphins, but they're better than the Jets. There's no doubt about it.
On the other hand, I would agree that the Giants are for real.
I would disagree and say the Giants are also
look
pretenders.
at the Giants' schedule. The Giants have a nice, easy schedule for the next few weeks.
Well, let me elaborate.
They're going to at
on
least make a wild card berth. I think the Giants are making the playoffs.
Let me elaborate on that a little bit. Do I think the Giants will make the playoffs? Yes, they have a Mickey Mouse schedule coming up.
No, do I think they're going to win it all? No,
ridiculous.
but I think they're going to make the playoffs.
I think the Giants could win 9-10 games, which is like
Yes.
Crazy to say. I think their coaching staff has done a really good job. Getting like a really healthy Saquon back has been really crucial. But is this like at the end of the day, the man leading this pack is Daniel Jones with 0 receivers to throw to. Give me wild card of the playoffs. The guy gets blown up. Giants get
but listen to
destroyed.
this next.
I
Listen
don't
to
have,
the next.
I don't have any faith in this Giants team at all. Yes, I say the only
next-
reason
listen to
only
this.
reason you're making the playoffs is because you have such a Mickey Mouse schedule. Like,
They have the
it's-
Texans, the Lions, the Commanders twice, and the Colts. Now,
the Giants can win 10 games. The Giants
here's where the
could have
Giants.
a really good
Here's where I'll
record.
tell
I
you where the
agree.
Giants will be fakers or makers. You ready? Let's see what date. December 11th and January 8th is where we find out if the Giants are fakers and makers. You know why?
Why?
They're playing the Eagles.
They're not. I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles. And guess what? Let's say the Giants get a wild card. Let's say the 49ers go and win their division. Let's say now we have, or no, let's just say somehow the Giants end up versus the Rams in the wild card round of the playoffs. You're going to tell me the Giants are going to beat the Rams in the playoffs? Absolutely not. No,
but
not a playoff game.
I think they're going to make it. I don't think the Jets are going to make the playoffs.
I
think the Giants will make
I
the
agree with you.
playoffs.
I think the Giants will make the playoffs. The Jets, I don't think will make the playoffs.
I think the Giant fans will have a nice, fun season like the Knicks had a few
I
years
agree.
ago.
And this is
they'll be
honestly
excited.
this is not the greatest for the Giants because you need it's good that you're showing improvement, but honestly you have a lot of glaring holes and one of them was your most important one is your quarterback. Listen, Daniel Jones, has he looked a little better? Yes, if he's your quarterback, if they give him
maybe they
the
can
starting job after this year, that's just like
maybe they can trick Carolina to take him like the
I
Jets
have
did
a-
with Darnold.
I have a question for you.
Ooh, I want an
A
answer.
football question.
Uh-oh.
If the Giants win the Super Bowl, do you keep Daniel Jones?
Yes, you have. If you win the Super Bowl, you have to keep your quarterback who won it for you. You don't trade away a quarterback who won the Super Bowl. You do not do that. Just like the Giant fans who are crazy who say, "Let Saquon go." I don't care how the season ends. You re-sign Saquon.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I agree with that. Saquon is at a lot.
He is the heart and soul of your offense.
I feel like I'm not saying they're not going to.
What are you
re-sign
saying?
him.
Let Saquon go. Roll the dice with a new running back in the draft.
Yeah, go take a running back in the 3rd round who could be honestly just as good as Saquon.
I don't think so. I think you re-sign Saquon.
Yeah, I agree. Saquon has been showing some amazing stuff, and I don't think you could trade somebody like that. Just like you can't really let DeGrom go.
It's not a knock on Saquon. He's been amazing this year, and he's probably going to win comeback player of the year, honestly. But it's really just more of running back is such an interchangeable position, and there are so many good running backs that you could find, especially in the draft.
But are they Saquon good?
they might not be Saquon good, but
So
like
why downgrade?
because to pay a running back when they're already that age, honestly, if you look at running backs who get those kind of contracts at his age after their rookie deal is done, it doesn't end well at all. It never ends well.
Can we build off what he said about DeGrom?
Of course,
What should we do with DeGrom?
you signed DeGrom.
I'd love to
You
bring
have to
DeGrom
sign
back,
DeGrom.
but if DeGrom walks, I'm not sad. Like I'm not crushed.
I would be crushed.
It's
What if he walks to the
You
Braves?
can't get rid of
Then I'm crushed.
DeGrom. There's nobody like DeGrom. It's like you can't get rid of him.
I agree. I love DeGrom. I want him to come back, obviously, but I am not like when John Tavares left the Islanders. I was crushed. When I'm trying to think of some other.
When Aaron Judge left the Yankees, I was crushed.
You'll be, when Lamar Jackson leaves the Ravens, you'll be crushed. If Jacob DeGrom leaves the New York Mets, I will be upset. I will be like, oh, that stinks. He's gone. But I will not be as crushed as when the Islanders lost John Tavares, and I was crushed.
I don't know. I know.
Because I think he's going to come back because I think the Mets are going to offer him 5 years where every other team is going to say, this is what Scherzer had, so you're going to get paid this. You can accept it or not. The Mets will go, here's the extra 2 years. I think he's going to come back. I brought up the question. I was interested to think, if he doesn't come back, what do you do with Scherzer? Do you hang on to him, or do you think, let me try to get younger in my rotation and trade Scherzer?
What would you trade Scherzer? You know what would be an interesting trade package for Scherzer? And I know this sounds terrible because it's like in the division, but if you could somehow flip him, Max Scherzer, how many years does he have left on his deal?
2. I was thinking someone like a Pablo Lopez, Jesus Luzardo level, because I don't think the Marlins would ever take Scherzer, but someone of that level. 2 young arms. That's what I would want.
I don't think Pablo Lopez is that young. I think he's like 27.
Well, younger, but still, Jesus Luzardo is the piece that
I
would
was thinking
want.
like real young, like prospect young.
Prospect young.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, the only reason I think they'd make it's not the best idea because you're giving him to the Phillies,
Oh!
but they have one pitching prospect that is, I think, the real deal. Andrew Painter, my bad. He is the real deal in my opinion.
I think that Scherzer and the Phillies is a recipe for the Phillies disaster because Scherzer being a long ball, history of having a problem with the long ball.
Listen, he's old,
in
man.
Citizen Bank Park.
I don't think honestly, if the Phillies are in the World Series this year, so they could be like,
I'm gonna
yeah,
pray.
we
You know,
can make a run.
I've completely destroyed the Phillies the entire time, and they made it to the World Series. So I'm gonna try something new. I think the Phillies are gonna win the World Series. Wink, wink. I think that they're gonna go all the way. Air quotes inserted. Let's see if that works. Because I could root for the Braves against Houston because the Braves are homegrown. I kind of like, you know what, good for them. They grew this team and they won it all. I cannot root for the Phillies and Bryce Harper's.
Spank the Astros and another NL East team, not named the Mets, wins the World Series.
I hope that
Yordan
Yordan Alvarez shoves his bat up where the Phillies sun don't shine. That's what I hope. I want Yordan Alvarez to be crushing balls in Citizens Bank Park.
Just to end what I was saying, just to end off on the other topic, Scherzer, you have to re-sign him. And, you know, you hear on social media people saying, oh, let DeGrom walk, whatever. It's the same people who are saying that kind of thing about Aaron Judge. Oh, yeah, who cares if Judge goes? Like, you're crazy. You got to sign those guys.
Thank you so much,
There you
Keith
go.
from Long Beach. I'm sorry we kept you on the line so long, but thank you for also giving us a segue into what I want to talk about next. Aaron Judge. Yankee fans might have shot themselves in the foot by booing him. How do you boo the man who hit 62 home runs in the playoffs?
I don't know.
How do you boo him just because he goes 0 for 6?
We shouldn't have done that. We had 2-3 bad games, but like, I don't really.
When you were at home watching from the TV,
be like, oh well, the Yankees fans booed me, so I'm not coming back.
When you were at home watching from the TV, how'd you feel watching Aaron Judge get booed?
Oh, I honestly, my initial reaction was, please stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop booing the man that literally, he's the whole reason we're in this position.
He is the New York Yankees.
Like that's the whole point. Like, we have to re-sign him. Whatever money some other team throws at him, like you have.
I read yesterday the
you
Giants.
have to throw it at him.
I read yesterday the Giants will not be outbid. But here's what I think Judge is going to do.
Will the end of the contract probably be absolutely terrible? Yeah, but like you can't let.
Here's
Judge
what I
walk.
think.
If you let Judge walk and then. Think about what we did last offseason. We didn't sign a shortstop. We didn't get a big name free agent. Whatever. We tried to.
Well, there's a good shortstop class this year with Turner, Swanson, and Correa.
Not the point. Here, let me finish. We don't sign a shortstop. We don't really sign anyone big. Like we don't get we make that stupid IKF trade. Whatever.
Yankee fans love IKF.
And now Judge has this year. Are you really gonna not sign a shortstop and let Judge walk? Because last year we didn't sign a shortstop because we wanted to wait for Volpe or Peraza. Are you really going to not sign a shortstop and let Judge go?
You can't do both. I mean, you cannot sign a
Well,
shortstop
that's what I'm saying.
and sign Judge.
It would just contradict. Like, it would just be like terrible management by the team. What I think we need to do is sign Judge, Peraza, Volpe. I don't care. Honestly, they should both. That should be our middle infield. Peraza and Volpe. Glaber, figure out what to do with him. But
what about IKF?
um,
Banish him to Scranton Wilkes-Barre?
yeah, no, just put him on the bench. I don't know, but you gotta like the talent's there. Peraza, the talent's there. Volpe, he's been hyped up.
I think what Judge is going to do is exactly what I love to reference hockey. What Artemi Panarin did with the Islanders, where he's going to milk the Giants for as much money as possible, and then go back to the Yankees and say, "This is what they gave me. You give me this, and I'll come back." He'll use the Giants to get as much money as possible from the Yankees. That's truly what I think.
I honestly agree with that. For once, we agree on something. I think he's just gonna play the game where who can give me the most money, and then. But in his right of mind, I think he really does want to come back to the Yankees. But you're right, he's gonna use the Giants as a leverage.
Yeah, the Giants. He could use the Mets as a leverage. I don't think the Mets are going to make a real offer at him. They have so much, everything else to worry about.
Although Gary Cohen said he's ready to spend money again.
You mean Steve Cohen?
Did I say Gary Cohen?
You said Gary Cohen. Who might be willing to spend money on him? I don't know.
I meant Steve Cohen.
The Mets, though, the first thing they have to do is re-sign Edwin Diaz. We can agree that, right? Edwin Diaz has got to be. He wants to come back. If he hits the open market, it
who's
could
a bigger
get bad.
priority for you, Edwin Diaz or Jacob DeGrom?
Diaz,
Why?
because DeGrom is going to hit that open market no matter what. He's not going to take any easy deal from the Mets. If Diaz has said he would like to come back, I think that if the
I'm
Mets,
sure DeGrom would like to come back.
I don't know about that. DeGrom's comments did not sound too inspiring.
Neither did Judge's, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Well, Jacob DeGrom didn't kiss his NY on his jersey like Judge
That's
did.
true.
Diaz wants to come back, and if Diaz hits that open market, somebody is going to throw a ridiculous number at him that the Mets might just say, I can't match that. I have to try to sign other people.
I mean, I guess it's a solid point. Honestly, I think you have to re-sign both of them.
Oh, yes, I want both of them back.
But what do you think? Do you run it back like basically with the same team? Like what would you say went wrong?
The hitting fell apart without Starling Marte, which is alarming that one piece falls off and all of a sudden
And
it
it's
all
not even your
crumbles.
best piece, which is interesting.
You need a guy who's just going to hit the ball, and it might
The
just...
reality is, in the playoffs, you got to get out at the right time. Look how hot the Phillies are
Yeah,
right now.
but
And
you
honestly,
also-
I
I think
think
the
having
Mets-
like these last like 5-6 days off is not good for them because they were so hot.
Well, the Yankees had the same... Not the Yankees. Sorry, they didn't make it there. The Astros had the same...
No, I know, but the Astros were not on like absolute
The Astros are just
steaming
good.
fire. Yeah, the Astros that we know are just like this is just how they play. The Phillies though are like they're riding their hot streak right now. We have seen them where they are just like a god awful baseball team. Bryce Harper is playing like he is the no doubt best player in the.
I hate Bryce Harper.
He is the no doubt best player in the world.
What was I going to say? The Mets need to add one more piece. They need one more hitter. I'd love to get Trey Turner. I do not think that'll happen. They do not have the money for it, but that's my ideal thing.
Where do you put Trey Turner?
I put him at second, Francisco at short, Jeff at third. Oh, no, Jeff in left, Guillorme at third. I banish Canada to the bench. I trade Escobar, Marte right, someone in center. I don't think it's going to be Nimmo. I think it's going to probably either be, could be Canna or Mangum in the prospects. I don't think it'll be
It's
Nimmo.
not going to be Mangum.
Oh, and you got to get rid of James McCann. I'd rather have Tomas Nido start every game.
What about Alvarez?
He's not ready. He is
He's
not,
not
ready.
ready. He came up this year.
He wasn't ready.
Well, I mean,
Someone actually, I saw this
that's
online. I
okay.
actually think this is interesting. A bad contract trade of James McCann for Steven Matz, which I think is interesting
How
because I'd love
ironic.
to put Steven Matz in the bullpen and just say, give it a try because we don't want him to start.
how ironic.
We have 2 minutes
Well,
left.
We all know he'd eventually become a starter just due to all the injuries.
Of
that
course
he's
he
gone
would,
through.
and it would be horrible. We have 2 minutes left. So quickly, World Series prediction. I say Astros in 6. I take that back. I say Phillies in 6. Wink, wink.
I'm gonna go
You know.
Phillies in 7.
What? You actually going to take the Phillies to win the World Series?
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
I'm gonna go Phillies in 7.
They're not going to win the World
It's a
Series.
great
I mean,
se-
yes, they
it's
are.
a
They're
great
totally going to
series.
win it. I love the
Listen,
Phillies. Go
we've
Phillies.
seen the Phillies rough up some really good pitching. If they remain hot, I think they have a good
I
shot.
think Jordan's going to hit absolute moonshots in Citizens Bank Park. Anyway, we are out of time. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. I hope you have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next time. Love you, Pop Pop. Goodbye.